Welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm Gary.
And I'm David. I'm not David.
Yes, that's true. And I'm not Gary.
And just to show you, I'm not AI.
Oh, if only Netanyahu was here, we could really end a lot of speculation.
Exactly. Okay, dude. How can I get that extra finger in there?
There you go. Yeah. So it's Saturday night. About a little after 8 o'clock. That's very nice. that's very nice, TV.
Do shadow things in the corner.
Yeah, very nice. Next thing you'll do that finger thing where you wrap your thumb.
No, on my thumb.
Yeah.
You got your thumb.
So I was, Dave and I were kind of running around doing our things today. We didn't get a chance to get together, but so we're doing this through live, basically StreamYard instead of side by side. But there's a couple stories that came out today that I wanted to chat about, and then one I wanted to actually read on. The one I want to actually read on is Robert Mueller. He passed away at age of 81. And of course, Trump came right back with a very classic response, right at the level I was expecting Trump to come back at. It's just Trump has no class, and he's willing to prove it every chance he gets.
Yeah, no class and no shame about having no class.
Yeah,
shameless.
You money doesn't buy class.
No, but your zip code doesn't buy class either.
Yeah, but there's a couple things that I wanted to kind of poke a little bit of fun at our Republican MAGA friends. The first is MAGA is swooning, absolutely in love and enamored with a U.S. servicewoman, I guess. Her name is Jessica Foster.
Jessica Foster.
Yeah, and she is like Trump's girl. She's there with Trump, walking around with him, briefing people at some, I forget what she was doing some briefing.
Yeah.
And it showed her a picture of her on a battleship, and she's wearing like a mini skirt and high, like 3-inch heels, which is a very interesting uniform for a. I'd show you the picture, but it's probably not going to come out.
No, it's not going to come out.
Yeah, you get the idea, right?
It's kind of coming out. Yeah.
Yeah. So the MAGA is absolutely in love with this girl, and there's only one little problem with Jessica Foster. She doesn't exist. She's AI generated. This whole thing is some guy has an account and he created this fictional army woman, and MAGA's, she's so beautiful and just swooning over her. And she's completely made up. And it's just another propaganda machine for MAGA, for Trump and MAGA and America First.
Among the things that were problematic with the videos or pictures put up with her is that in the military, your name on your name badge is your last name. Hers was her first name. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And when it shows her in uniform, her uniform's all wrong. For those who know, and the components of the uniform were wrong. Lots of things wrong about it. She's wearing a skirt, and that would not be appropriate for the top that she's wearing. The bottom she's wearing don't match. We've got somebody who's got army, who's in the army, is in a Navy shot.
Yeah, exactly. That was the picture I was showing. She was on a naval vessel in the Strait of Hormuz, and she's in an army outfit. It's like,
I guess the the group she was addressing, like in some big speech. It was a recent thing too. It shows an AI Trump in the front row. This is the type of thing where generals speak, not some enlisted person, not an enlisted man who would be up there talking to the audience, including generals and the commander in chief. It's ridiculous. But you know what? Critical thinking skills are not the forte of MAGA.
No.
As Trump has said, he loves dumb people or something.
He loves
Paraphrasing
the
there.
uneducated. And, Adam Kinzinger, he had a couple of comments because it's insane that this guy's account had 1 million followers. And his quote is, Jessica Foster is clearly not a soldier in the U.S. Army. Jessica Foster is AI. Jessica Foster has 1 million followers. And if you look at the comments of it, some of the people are saying, my goodness, the people that fall for AI, the MAGAs, the old men, come on, this is insane. Yeah, you give them what they want, and they're gonna believe it all the way to the end, right? So it's just so funny how they're so willing to embrace this.
It's an echo chamber, and it speaks to them and their values. It's what they want to see, so they're willing to believe it, and they're willing to not look at it, scrutinize it with any degree of critical thinking.
In related news, Caroline Levitt was claiming she wrote a post on X on Thursday claiming that Americans agree that Operation Epic Fury is an overwhelming success.
I don't know who she interviewed for that, but carry on.
Goes on. There was a link to a White House poll showing that 80 to 90% of respondents agreed the war has been fruitful.
No. What's the data set? Did they go to that gal's AI page and query the people there?
Pretty much.
They asked Stephen Miller and others in the cabinet.
Apparently, they only consider the views of hardcore MAGA loyalists and not the broader American public. They didn't take a cross section of the American public. They just went to their loyal sycophants and asked them, "Hey, how great of a job do you think we're doing?"
I want you to sort of absorb this for a second. They went to the cult members, and only 8 or 9 out of 10 of those cult members said this was an overwhelming success.
Yes.
Which means 1 or 2 out of 10.
It wasn't even that. It was they agreed that the war has been fruitful.
God, I mean, that's really lowering the bar, and they still can't get 100% on that.
Oh, yeah, that should have been 110% based on MAGA math, right?
Yeah, so the lesson here, one of the lessons here is when you see polls, you have to understand who are they polling, and what was the question they asked in the polls, because you can phrase questions in such a way to get the answers you want, and then they can misrepresent overwhelming success, but the poll says fruitful. Fruitful means just like, did we get some benefits out of it? Yeah. Overwhelming success would be like, we bombed them on day 1. They capitulated and said, here, take all of our oil. We're so sorry. Here's reparations for all the people we kidnapped 47 years ago. We'll never do it again. And would you like to come to the cookout? Stuff like that. I think that would be and all the Middle Eastern countries embraced us and loved us and said that we're going to all combine to make non-fossil dependent fuel for vehicles, and we'll all sing Kumbaya together or something.
Yes.
I think I just take the cookout.
And then
halal.
The other thing that there was a quote I read today. God, this is almost like we're doing a live stream. There was a quote I read today. It's actually Lewis Carroll wrote the quote. But
did he write a Christmas story?
What's that?
Did he write a Christmas story?
He did. But
after that,
what did
he gave us this quote.
What he wrote? Didn't he? I want to say. I forget. There was something famous he wrote. I'll
Derailed.
look it up. I'm sure people are writing it all over the comments right now.
Oh, did you get? Speaking of which, did you get a lot of comments yesterday about Christine Guilfoyle?
Yes, I got a few. There was a couple that said it was actually spelled gargoyle, which I always thought
Yes.
that was the more accurate spelling.
It is a close spelling, and it adequately describes the plastic surgery that's been done to what was once a very attractive woman.
Yeah, well, it helps you remember her name.
Yeah, it's true. I couldn't pull it out yesterday.
Yeah, Lewis Carroll had a quote, and it really sums up Trump's objectives for the Iranian war the war that's not a war. It's basically, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
Mm-hmm.
And that perfectly sums up the United States objectives with the Iranian war, because they don't have a plan. They don't have an agreed upon objective. So he could declare victory anytime he wants. Basically all of our objectives are being overwhelmingly met. And I was talking to Lawrence, like, I really don't know what those objectives are. I don't think he's ever really spelled out.
We still don't know why we're there. We still do not know why they're there. They keep changing the parameters.
Yeah, why we're there. So that quote really struck home with me.
It wasn't Tiny Tim or the three ghosts at Christmas, past, present, and future. That's what stuck with me with anything Lewis Carroll's written.
Yes. Okay, now I'm going to look up and see Lewis Carroll book. Let's see. Alice in Wonderland. Okay, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, he did Alice in Wonderland. Okay, so Robert Mueller passed away. Very sad. And I immediately thought...
You catch me as I'm smiling, and you say, I'm smiling. Robert Mueller passed away. Oh, great. Now I look like screw that guy.
It's one of those things where Trump came out. Did you get Trump's quote on that? Or do you want me to look
I saw it. It's like, good. He won't be around to ruin innocent people's lives anymore.
Yeah.
Donald J. Trump, something like that.
Yeah. That's pretty close.
Yeah. A-hole.
Yeah.
Funny how it didn't ruin your life at all, Bill Barr.
Yeah.
There's somebody who needs to be lowered feet first into the chipper shredder. There's a lot of people that need to be lowered feet first.
Here's the quote. Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. That was your president's quote about
my president. Your president, maybe.
About some guy who volunteered, got to fight for the United States Army, got the Bronze Star, was a prosecutor, former FBI director, and basically, someone that was a very honorable man. And this is how the leader of the United States refers to him.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder about God sometimes, doesn't it?
He's got a plan, then I'm not smart enough to know what this plan is.
Yeah. I got to hold on. Let me get my quote. Hang on here. I got a great quote that I got from, from Good Omens, the Terry Pratchett book. That was also a BBC TV series. In Good Omens, God is described as playing an ineffable game of her own devising. Rather than dice, the game is metaphorically described as poker, played in a pitch-dark room with blank cards for infinite stakes against a dealer who won't tell you the rules and smiles constantly. I'm on board. I think that describes it perfectly.
Great.
Love the British humor. Indeed. Always have.
So let's take a look at Robert Mueller. Because my first thought was, I would have loved to have heard a very candid interview with Robert Mueller about the Mueller report.
Yeah, he did give candid interviews. That just was not who he was.
I would have loved to have heard that. And so let's see, for entertainment purposes only, if he had done a candid interview, what would we have learned?
By the way, I ordered another Robert Mueller Hope shirt.
Oh, good.
For myself. I might order a shirt for you as well, but it's not Robert Mueller.
Okay. Hopefully
it's Bob. It's Bob Hope. And it says Hope on it. And I figured you would appreciate that, given your love for film noir and things like that.
Indeed. Bob Hope had a little bit of a past, a little bit of a colorful past, but sometimes you can't take it out of the context of the era that they were living in.
I need to get me a Betty White Hope shirt or something.
There you go. Yeah, sometimes it's very difficult to apply modern morals and ethics to actions that happened 80, 90, 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. It doesn't excuse it, but you can't necessarily take it out of context either. Yeah. Okay, so what if we had an interview with Robert Mueller where he could be forthright about the Mueller report? What would we have learned? And the outcome is the six. The primary card here is the Six of Cups. This is I can sort of look at this as Russia trying to give assistance to the child, to the man baby. That was kind of the whole crux of it. Now, whether Trump and his merry band of incompetence were actively pursuing it or just being conveniently ignorant that they were getting help, I guess we will have to find out later. But there was assistance being given. The challenge is the King of Cups, which we now seem to feel it's Trump in his little tantrums. He was getting assistance, but the challenge is Trump wasn't smart enough to understand what was happening. Mm-hmm. That he didn't have a grasp of how he was being manipulated and being what the price was going to be for this. Energy underneath it is the King of Pentacles. This has also been the Trump card. Energy underneath it is people with power and wealth were behind this, behind this rigging of the election, this trying to influence the election. It could be Putin, it could be the oligarchs, it could be the rich donors, but there's power and money underneath this. In the past, you have the Magician. Okay, so stick with the reading. What would we have found out about the Mueller report? So just all of the actions, all of the backroom deals that were happening that led up to this. Current energy is the Six of Swords. I'm not sure where to go with
overseas help.
Yeah, I mean that could be. That could be. Just being able to take these problems. Trump is a man that definitely had a past, and they were able to take his problems and keep them out of sight.
Well, it makes you wonder. A lot of other investigations came out of the Mueller investigation. Yep. And you've got your King of Coins under there. There's money involved. Yep. Probably some of those investigations may tie into these current set of files that we want released, because that could also be women and children being trafficked.
Good point. Overarching energy is the Nine of Swords. Just this nightmare scenario of manipulation that had occurred. And it's a situation where, it's like the Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. Mueller really had to walk a fine line on this. I think what's in that report that Bill Barr shoveled a bunch of dirt on the top of, there was probably a lot of very damning stuff in that. Mm-hmm. Lesson to be learned is the Four of Wands. Hey, you know what? If your political party isn't in power, if they're the ones that are out of power, the actions you taken will not be celebrated. It should have been something that should have been welcomed and embraced in a bipartisan fashion. And it certainly wasn't. It was buried deep in partisan politics. The outcome of what we will learn, you've got a choice. You know, you can choose to believe it or not, I suppose. You know, it's maybe at one point we'll have the ability to see what was in there. The unredacted version will be presented, and we'll have a chance to judge for ourselves about what
kind of what I'm getting from that is they found stuff. They found the cooperation between the groups, and it was going to cause some turmoil. And I don't doubt that Bill Barr thought that this is going to cause a civil war, so we can't let this out. Just kind of like how they can't let the Epstein files out because that's going to implicate all these really wealthy, powerful people, and we can't have that. And and we can't really let you know the real job numbers or the real inflation numbers because then the economy will crash just as we're invading another country we have no business being in at the behest of another country that is one of the worst friends you could possibly have. But all in all it means is, you know what? You kick the can down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, 10 years, 10 years later or 5 years later after this report, and look where we're at now. Mm-hmm. Is this better than what we would have been if we had just addressed it then?
Yeah.
Apparently, we have enough people in this country that wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah. Well, God, I would have never believed we would be at where we are at right now, right?
Amen. I miss my pre-political life. It was so nice.
Amen.
So I don't know how to follow you up there on that. Okay. From Spirit, what message would you like to share with us about Robert Mueller's passing? If he was going to pass a message along to us, what would that look like? Keep looking towards the future, because the decisions that you make now, or you're thinking of the actions you're going to take, are what's going to dictate your future. And underneath it all, the underlying reason for the whole Mueller report is still intact. It hasn't been addressed. Very wealthy people.
We both got that King of Pentacles as energy underneath it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. The energy underneath has not changed. So you have to think about the actions you're going to take going forward. We've got a legacy here. And it's probably going back to the whole country was built on money and exploitation of people. That is the American legacy. And now it's time for us to sit back and reflect on our legacy. And is this who we want to be? Because right now, this country was built on corruption, and we are being faced. Corruption is being shown to us face to face here. What kind of choices are you going to make? The lesson to be learned is the Page of Swords. Either you have people who are deceptive, or you have to come up with new ideas. And sometimes new ideas come from young people. And you have to. It's almost like you have to lean into the ideas of young people and then put those ideas into action. Thoughts into action. But you got to plan. You take into account your history, your current legacy, what's driving this current legacy, and how do you get out of this legacy and then take action.
There's another quote. And it's one of Dave's favorite quotes ever from a movie.
Uh-huh.
And it's from Sister Mary Lazarus from Sister Act.
Can't involve the feds.
Yeah, we can't leave it up to the feds.
Actually, it's actually Gary's favorite quote from that movie. I remember coming over to your house and you're look this line.
That is a good line, though.
It's completely like you had to throw that one in there, huh? Because that was so stereotypical of all movies at that time.
Exactly.
Somehow the two of us can solve this problem that the entire FBI can't resolve.
Exactly.
Because that makes perfect
you can't
sense.
leave it up to the feds.
Right.
A wonderful line. I had to go dig that one up. I couldn't remember the character's name. I remembered the quote. I just wanted to make sure I give credit to the right character.
Well, she was also the one that said they were churning butter in minus 20-degree weather in North Dakota. Now those were nuns.
That's right.
Or probably both of our favorite when she's in the casino in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And the guy's hitting on her.
It's been a while. It's probably been 30 years since I've watched that movie. So, it's with Robert Mueller, it's just, it was an opportunity for the United States as a nation to hit reset. And
that got flushed.
Just like the Jan 6 trials. It was an opportunity to hit stop, hit reset, and start this thing over again. And through the acts of corporate media and the acts of self-serving politicians, we had that opportunity taken away from us, in my opinion. And here we are. So we're going to be given another opportunity to hit stop and hit reset. And hopefully that's going to happen sooner rather than later. Because it's already been a year with this twit, and it just feels like a century. And, I don't think we're going to have to deal with it much longer, but every day is a drag. And that's what I've got. And so I guess on March 28th, if you have the ability, go out there and let your voice be heard.
And if you don't, be active on social media. Yeah. And pump it out there. Share videos. If you're on Facebook and you see a video of people marching, share it on your Facebook page. Get it out there. That helps.
And that's what I got. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for watching. I wanted to give a couple of shout outs. Crystal Weatherby. Hi, Crystal. Out there in Iowa gave us a kind and generous donation. Why don't you throw a card for her, Dave? She is not David. She is a big fan of Not David. Oh, what card was that?
I'm not telling you now. Not David pull a card for her.
Not David's in the shed.
Knight of Wands.
Okay, what else have I got? Oh, shoot, I should have deleted that. Brittany, also known as Echoes 123, also made a kind contribution. She said, "Thanks. If beer is behind the Laura Ingraham choice, I'd switch to whiskey."
Come on, computer auto generate.
Yeah, you had a little bit of glare on your cards today.
You think?
Yeah, but hey, at least my internet wasn't freezing us.
That's a good start.
And then a quick shout out to Kentucky Bell. Apparently, Kentucky Bell is got some more sneaky things up her sleeve, so I've got to be alert what might be heading our way next. So, Michelle, I hope you and Dan are having a great night, and thank you so much for supporting the channel like you have over the last year or two. It's been a pleasure having you on board.
Yes, thank you.
And then a card for the rest of us. Oh dear, we've got the Eight of Swords. We feel like we're trapped, and we don't have.
You're stuck on this damn roller coaster ride, and you don't get off until you pass the red arrow. Stay seated.
Yeah, stay seated. Permanente sensatavos, por favor. I'm probably butchering that a little bit. I gotta look that up. But they say it at the end of all the rides at Disneyland.
Please remain seated until your
Remain
boat
seated, please,
passes
until
the
the
red
boat
arrow.
passes the red arrow.
That's right.
Permanente sensatavos, por favor. All right, folks, have a great night and a great weekend. Hi to the Insomnia Club, and we'll catch you soon. Take care, folks.
Right, take care, everyone.
Bye.